everyone. Here's what's coming up tonight on News Center Now. A Maine woman is responding to the possible plan from the Trump administration to change the way the federal law recognizes the definition of gender.
We'll continue our Mothers Matter series. This week we're looking at why it's so dangerous in some cases for women to have children.
And I got my red on, you got the navy on. We look like
playoff beard.
Team Red Sox.
We'll have a live report from Fenway Park. Game 1 of the World Series is tonight.
This is News Center Now.
Is searching for a lobsterman who they say fell off his boat near Doyle Island. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Mills.
Natalie Goldberg. The Coast Guard says that the unnamed lobsterman fell into the water from his boat about 9:20 this morning. 2 commercial fishermen reported seeing the person falling into the water from a 20-foot commercial fishing vessel just near Doyle Island, which is west of Jonesport.
And we will have much more information on this story coming up on News Center Maine at 5:30. Another story developing now. Police arrest a man they say is facing an assault charge after a stabbing happened at the State Theater. Bail for 27-year-old Joseph Lewis was set at $3,000.
As last report for us, the victim is still recovering after suffering at least 1 puncture wound that he suffered during Sunday's Dirty Heads concert at the State.
I wish that the president would move away from it.
I don't think that creating a separate category of sex for them is in their best interest.
It goes against legal precedent, medical precedent, what we already know. We should be a welcoming country and no one should feel stigmatized.
The candidates for Maine's 1st Congressional District responding to one of your questions during our latest Voice of the Voter Forum, which was last night. The question was asking for their stance on a reported plan from the Trump administration to establish a legal definition of gender based on a person's sex at birth.
We also heard from another Mainer who transitioned almost 10 years ago. She says she has found peace after a lifelong struggle with her identity, and we want to hear about how you feel about this issue, but let's remember common courtesy and respect.
If you can't be who you are, then there's really no point in living.
Rachel Genther says she knows what it's like to live a life that's a lie.
I knew inside I was a girl, and it's like, how do you tell your mother and father that you're a girl?
She lived 4 decades as Roland Genther. Since she was 4, she said she felt like she couldn't be herself. Upset with the news of the Trump administration's reported plan to change the federal definition of gender, Genther wrote to News Center Maine on Facebook about her experience battling the stigma against the LGBTQ community.
Trans rights are human rights! Trans rights are human rights!
Her disappointment echoed by demonstrators in Washington, D.C. They rallied Monday against a proposal to redefine gender as an unchangeable condition determined solely by a person's biology at birth. The plan was in a leaked document obtained by the New York Times. This April will mark 10 years since Rachel Genther's father used a loan to pay for her gender reassignment surgery. Not long after her transition, she shared her story with the Lincoln County News. Now she hopes by sharing her story on camera, she can help break the stigma against those who are transgender or who have transitioned.
I fixed an evil thing in my body and got rid of it, and now I'm at peace.
Roughly 1.4 million American adults identify as transgender, more than 5,000 in Maine, according to the latest numbers from the Williams Institute at UCLA School of Law. In June, Maine became the first New England state and 3rd in the nation to add a 3rd non-binary gender option on driver's licenses.
So today's weather can be really described in one best way. Hashtag that's so Maine. We had sun, we had rain, we had snow. We pretty much had everything depending where you were and at what time.
Yeah, and we even had a little bit of thunder and lightning earlier today, Lee and Lindsay, down in Machias. And we're watching another line of thunderstorms actually coming in out of New Hampshire. This is all a part of the system that's going to change rain over to snow in a lot of central and northern Maine as we go through tonight. Right now it's cold in central and northern Maine, 30s here, about 50 along the coastline. But later tonight, the wind will kick in out of the north and this cold air will drain all the way down to the coastline by tomorrow morning. So here is a line of thunderstorms now in parts of southern New Hampshire we're keeping an eye on. This is the system that's going to be tracking in as we go through tonight. So hour by hour, you can see the rain fills in, and you may even hear the rumble of thunder in parts of western Maine in the next couple of hours. And as we go through the night, we'll watch that rain-snow line continue to press south. It'll be snowing steadily in much of the mountains, and by 3-4 a.m., that rain-snow line may creep down toward Bangor and may even switch over down toward the mid-coast. That north wind will kick in, so early tomorrow morning, don't be shocked to see some snowflakes even in parts of southern Maine. We'll go through the planner for the day tomorrow in just a minute, but this is where we're talking about the accumulation, 3 to 6 inches, especially north of Route 2, but we may get close to an inch or two even in Bangor with some late flakes mixing in all the way down toward the coastline. So I'll be back in a few minutes. We'll talk more about that full forecast because there's a lot to talk about, guys.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much, sir. A change for a long existing program after 4 decades in one location. The Day One residential program for Maine youth moved to a new facility in New Gloucester over the summer. There was an open house there today.
Day One helps kids and their families who struggle with substance abuse and mental health issues. The program serves kids aged 14 to 20, and the new house can accommodate up to 12 people at a time.
The original location, although it was really beautiful and large, was just kind of becoming run down. It was really hard to maintain. It wasn't the best location for the types of services, especially when kids get ready to leave the program.
We will have much more on the Day One program, how it works, coming up on Friday right here on News Center Now.
I love this
Mega
story.
Millions, the jackpot has risen to $1.6 billion with a B dollars, and there will be another drawing tonight. But what if we said if you win Mega Millions, you actually have a pretty good chance of ending up with no money? Yeah, bankrupt.
This is a story a lot of you were clicking on today. According to some research by a professor at Boston University, it's probably true you'll end up bankrupt. That researcher found that the average person in their 20s, 30s, and 40s who was given an inheritance or large financial gift quickly lost half the money through spending or poor investments.
He also references a 2001 report that says the average lottery winner only saves about 16 cents of every dollar. Cameron O'Brien will have much more about Mega Million madness in Maine coming up at 5:30.
All right, ordering a cup of Starbucks coffee should now be a lot easier for the hearing impaired, at least in one location in Washington, D.C. Starbucks has opened its first U.S. cafe staffed by employees who are partially or fully deaf and capable of communicating in American Sign Language.
The coffee company opened up their store today, which it calls a signing store. The chain hired as many as 25 people from across the country who know ASL to work at the store, which was converted over the last few months from an existing Starbucks location. All right, we got wet and wild weather down at Fenway Park. That's where Jessica Gagne and Bill Green are. That has not dampened their spirits, though, as Game 1 of the World Series is tonight.
Love that live look at Fenway. Plus, more mothers are dying during childbirth. Coming up, why black women are affected more than any other race. Is it okay? Prompter, is it okay? Guys, the torch was passed. I'm doing it today.
It is.
Just so I know how to do it.
There it is.
You know, it's a problem for me because I love to talk with my hands, and so now it's like restricted. I start talking like this.
It is very limiting because if you have to do that with one hand and then you're moving this with this hand, then you're out of hands.
The other thing too, it's like if you're reading, I want to look at you to see what you're like to interact, but I can't take my eyes off of it because what if I do a bad job running it for Lee? He's reading.
I did that yesterday, where I was running it, but I was looking at you, and I was like,
but
I hope it's keeping up. So when
I had no idea.
Hopefully it's in the same place.
Yeah, you did a good job.
So, yeah.
You did a good job.
It is.
Guys, this is the behind the scenes.
Here's the problem. This is some insider trading right here. Because Lindsay and I have shown the ability to do it, we're going to have to do this forever now. Like, we should have failed miserably, so they
we shouldn't have been good at it. Let's just make a promise right now with all of you at home that we do a really bad job of running our own prompter. Let's just say that.
Yeah. You guys should write in and say, it looks like they're doing their own prompter and they really shouldn't be.
I just want to interrupt really quickly. There's a conversation. There's a conversation going on right now with Greg, Jay, and Robert. Just remember to be nice, be respectful. This is a topic that a lot of you are talking about, the possible plan to define what gender means based on how you are born in memos leaked that the New York Times obtained. And people are reacting to this news. It came out yesterday, and just remember to remain respectful. Yeah. Everybody has an opinion, everybody has a stance on this, but just remain respectful.
With this topic and every other topic, we designed this show so we could hear what you guys had to say, but we want to hear from everybody.
Exactly.
So whether your opinion agrees with other people or not, doesn't matter. We want everybody to be able to come here and talk about what they feel. It's why we created the show in the first place.
Exactly.
Almost ready for you. Almost.
I'm just gonna start this.
Slide it in there, Jeff. Throw it.
Oh no. No, I'll be tall. I'll be fine.
I'll
See, I'm good. It's fine. I'll stand up tall.
I'll shoot you up.
Yes. One question. Can you feel it? Game 1 of the World Series tonight at Fenway Park. The Red Sox. Yes.
All right, Jessica Gagne and Bill Green are standing by live at Fenway Park. Guys, I've been blessed to cover 3 World Series, so I know that you're right now probably not excited at all, probably don't even care that you're there, right? I mean, that's about accurate.
Well, not exactly, Lee, but I'm feeling pressure because you won 3 of these things, and so there's a little bit more pressure on Jess and I tonight as well. The rain has subsided a bit here. That's good news as we get ready to play baseball at 7 o'clock. And we're excited about the game. We know Mainers are excited about the game because they showed us on social media.
That is right. We asked you to send in your pictures, your videos, how you were celebrating the Red Sox going for their 9th World Championship title. And of course, you delivered using the hashtag RedSoxME, Red Sox Maine. So take a look at some of these posts. Here's a picture that viewer Donna Matthews sent of her niece meeting Andrew Benintendi. That's a bucket list item completed. Check. And Sharon Bennett posting a picture of a very adorable child wearing the cutest little outfit I've ever seen. Got to stock up on those. And Bill.
Piper Boldick has her game day socks on. Hopefully they'll bring the team good luck. And D. Douglas Jr., kind of like JBJ, says policy book only mentions collared shirts for work, nothing about Red Sox jackets, but I think that is very proper attire.
So do I, Bill. And Becky Sue Clicks is representing at work for all the tourists to see. These people were more than happy to share all their fandom today. Please keep it coming. We want to see these throughout the World Series. It's only game 1, so keep sending them along. And Bill, speaking of new stuff, they are serving some new items at Fenway Park that I am extremely excited about.
They are called chicken tachos, crispy tater tots with shredded buffalo chicken, scallions, and blue cheese.
So now that the weather has lifted, the sun has shone, the field is ready, we can go have dinner, right?
I was thinking, I was surprised you were still here after I finished reading that.
Well, I got to stay because at 5:30 we're going to hear from the Red Sox players, and then at 6 o'clock we have a Mainer who has housed many of the Red Sox that will be starting tonight in World Series Game 1.
That's so interesting. He's had how many Mainers stay with him?
45.
45 different Portland Sea Dogs have stayed with him, many of whom, a few of whom, are playing here in World Series Game 1 tonight.
That's right.
And there's a very different feeling down here tonight. The playoffs were big, but this is huge.
This is huge, Lee and Lindsay, huge.
Yeah, guys, we're all surprised Jess is still there if there's food available. So, Bill, you're not the only one.
Back.
Yeah, that's right.
Tots will travel.
There you go, exactly. All right, some factoids for you guys about Game 1 of the World Series tonight. Sox obviously bringing out the big guns. James Taylor is going to sing the national anthem. He's amazing, and obviously a Massachusetts guy. And my hero, Carl Yastrzemski, number 8. Yaz is going to throw out the first pitch. He did it in 04 and 07 and 13, and they won all of those World Series, so Yaz will be throwing out the first pitch tonight.
And 11 former Sea Dogs players are on Boston's World Series roster, almost half the team. That's awesome.
That is pretty cool stuff.
All right. American moms are dying during childbirth at an alarming rate. We're going to have more on why that is during our Mothers Matter series.
And there's been snow, so where's Keith? What? Keith? All right, Ryan Breton coming in hot when we come back.
He's dropping the snow news like it's hot.
Yeah, right.
Dave Roberts should throw out the first pitch, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be there anyway.
How do you want to...
Who said go Dodgers?
How do you want to divide that?
Mary Jean. Oh, Tammy Lou, you should go to Fenway Park sometime. It's really a magical place to see in person.
I had to turn
I don't think it will get rained out. Oh, by the way.
I turned my
But
Facebook off.
We'll ask Ryan to talk about that.
I turned Facebook off because it was making noises and I couldn't make it go away.
I heard that. Hey, Ryan.
Yeah.
Do you have 20 seconds to do like a quick Fenway forecast of tonight?
I actually have a graphic. I can throw it in. Where do you want it? Full weather?
Maybe at the beginning. Well, maybe when we tossed it to you. I meant to ask you that earlier, and then I just thought of it. So,
made one yesterday.
Sorry. Yeah, Fred, I'm with you. I'll take some rain instead of the white stuff. But if you guys have never been to Fenway Park before, it's just such a cool place to go.
It is so cool.
You walk in, it's the smells and the sights and the sounds.
The history.
The game really doesn't even matter. I mean, it matters, but it really doesn't. I mean, it's just to be able to say you were there for a game is pretty cool. Pretty cool experience, kids. I highly recommend it.
Do you want the first part of this intro or the second part?
What would you like?
It doesn't matter. Do you want to just read until you're done reading?
Sure.
Okay. Popcorn. Did you guys ever play that game when you were kids?
Here, let me see this. I haven't seen it yet, so.
There was a game we played in my elementary school where you'd all be reading the same book on the rug, and everyone would take turns reading, and when you were done reading, you would say popcorn and then call out someone's name. So you never knew if your name was going to be called, so you had to be paying attention and follow along. Yeah, right?
All right. I'll stop right there.
Okay.
And so you can pick it up at hour?
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like this.
Why would you say that?
Said no one ever.
Why would you say that?
It's going to be amazing, Bill.
Have you had to switch hands at all?
No, I don't get it. My hands aren't cramping like yours
just
did.
keeping it like at that same speed the whole time is the only thing. Like.
Yeah.
Because it's like you have to do like a quarter push.
Oh wait, hold on. I'm getting a call.
Hello.
Hello.
It was funny yesterday too. No, it's still funny. It is still funny. That's what I'm saying. It's still funny.
I'm funny.
Stand by.
My gosh. Help me. It is a headline that's very hard to wrap your head around, certainly in this day and age. American mothers are dying during childbirth, and the causes are mostly preventable, and the moms affected are mostly black women.
Our Mothers Matter investigation looks at the reasons behind this alarming trend.
Everything was pointing to signs that she was having a great pregnancy, and we were expecting another very healthy baby boy. The last thing I told her was that I loved her. The last thing I told Kira is I loved her. When they told me that her heart stopped, that was all I heard. I said, oh, wait. At nights thinking, man, like maybe I should have grabbed somebody by their collar, right? Maybe I should have turned the table over, right? Would that have made a difference? I definitely thought about the whole issue of I didn't want to be perceived not only as angry, but an angry black man, right? I'm not the smallest guy in the world. And what that would mean and how we would be perceived and how we would be treated as a result of that perception. When this first happened, I would get the question a lot, well, do you think it was because she was black? Do you think it would be different if Kira was white or was a different color? And the way I answer that question is, the simple fact that you have to ask that question is a problem.
Only thing that we conclude with any kind of reasonable certainty is that the experience of being black in America is so fundamentally different from the experience of being white in America that it translates to health outcomes. Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die than white women in the United States. And the only difference is the color of one's skin.
All of this is racism. It's various types of racism. It's not something inherent in black women. Genetics isn't a part of it. They go to all their prenatal appointments. They are in good condition when they arrive at the delivery room, and then they experience racial discrimination by medical professionals. The problem with that is often stereotypes about culture come into the training. This idea that black people have different kinds of bodies than other human beings has continued in medical practice to this very day. For example, there's a long line of studies that show that black patients are undertreated for pain. Black people have thicker skin, so don't feel pain as much. Black people are more likely to become addicted to drugs and therefore shouldn't be prescribed opioid pain treatments. These stereotypes are significant and prevalent.
There definitely are genetic differences that we are taught in medical school that you need to know when you're trying to take care of a patient of a specific race to know what's more common in that race. I'm Indian. We're prone to cardiovascular disease. If I recommend a colonoscopy to an African American person at 45, does that make me racist? I don't think so. It's actually better health care, right? If you know that in this race, these things are more common than in this race. Being overweight and obese is fraught with other medical complications, diabetes, high blood pressure, which increase your risk of delivery complications, increase your risk of postpartum complications.
We think that more than half of all pregnancy-related deaths are preventable, and clearly the deaths that we see from the old-fashioned causes, particularly hemorrhage, we know what to do.
Shortly after he came out, I remember feeling extremely dizzy. It got extremely bright and I saw like stars everywhere, and I just remember them placing him on me, and I just told them like I can't move.
And all 4 episodes of our series Mothers Matter are streaming right now at our website and mobile app. Learn what you need to do to make sure you or a loved one's happiest day doesn't turn tragic.
I'll have part 3 of that series for you right here tomorrow night on News Center Now at 5 o'clock. Part 1 of the World Series is tonight. We saw Jess and Bill down there, and the Fenway forecast looking, besides the Red Sox victory,
right. Well,
weather-wise.
Baseball in Boston in October is always a good thing, but the weather can really be a challenge. Tonight, probably some showers passing through, not raining the whole time. A little warmer tonight because check out tomorrow night, 40 degrees at first pitch, and with a gusty wind, it may feel like the upper 20s at times during tomorrow night's game. That's after the storm tonight that's going to bring snow to parts of our state moves through. We have the first winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings of the season up for the mountains into parts of Aroostook County, and notice these extend even into the foothills and central highlands as well. Right now we have mostly rain falling, but we're starting to see a bit of that snow mix in the higher elevations. There's a line of some heavier rain and thunderstorms that'll be moving into York County over the next couple of hours, now moving into southern New Hampshire. It's cold enough to snow right now in a lot of northern Maine, either side of freezing here. A little milder along the coast, but late tonight the wind will come in from the north, and that's what will bring the colder air even to the coastline later tonight. So this is the system we're watching. The center of it passes offshore, and as it does so, it will start to organize and expand a bit, and that northerly wind will kick in, dragging down some colder air later on tonight. So we'll go hour by hour. This is 8 o'clock. At that point, scattered showers for most of central and southern Maine, becoming a bit of a steadier rain in western areas. Here's the snow. It's mainly in the mountains at this point, but as we go through the night, the temperatures will gradually start to drop. So we'll watch this rain-snow line by 1, 2, 3 in the morning, get pretty close to Bangor, Waterville, maybe snowing along and north of Route 2 at that point. So places like Rumford, Rangeley, Jackman, up through Greenville and Millinocket as well. Still rain along the coastline at that point, but early tomorrow morning as that low gets going off the coast, the cold air will tuck in around it. So 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, maybe waking up to some snowflakes even around Augusta, toward the mid-coast as well, and likely snowing steadily north of Bangor. Some accumulation on the roadways for tomorrow morning's commute there. And then as we get into tomorrow afternoon, we'll clear things out. It's just cooler and windy as we get into the day on Thursday. That's going to be the big story coming up on that day. So snowfall accumulations, highest risk will be in northern Maine, but we may get some wet flakes mixing down all the way to the coastline. So maybe some accumulation on the grass as far south as Augusta, Lewiston, Sabathus early tomorrow morning. That's something we'll keep an eye on. Want to mention there's another storm we're watching this weekend. It's a bigger storm, and there will be some cold air out ahead of it. Right now it looks like Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, Sunday morning may have snow transitioning to a mix over to rain. So we're doing this all over again here. Definitely an active time of year for sure. Behind this storm though, a couple of nice but cold days, low to mid 40s both Thursday and Friday. Then we'll watch the weekend. Again, the time frame on that, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night into Sunday morning. Might start as snow, go to a mix, and there may even be some wind issues too.
Did Saturday say 38? Was there a 3?
Inland.
Yeah. 3.
Yeah.
3.
Get off my set. 38.
Oh, no.
What's the matter with this guy? 38.
I know.
All right.
That was
It's
Kurt
true.
Schilling's number, wasn't it?
That was Kurt Schilling's
Maybe that's
number.
why.
Okay, it's good luck. All right.
He's speaking your
Oh,
language
you come
now.
back. You come back now. You come back.
Now he's speaking your language.
All right, News
Thanks.
Center Maine at 5:30 coming up next. An arrest has been made in connection with a disturbing invasion of privacy case. A camera hidden in a hospital bathroom. We'll have the latest on that case.
And Election Day is 2 weeks away from today. We'll see how President Trump is getting ready for the midterm elections. A lot more when we come back with Raindrops.
I don't know if Isaac can hear me, but I could barely hear him. I don't know if he was on the wrong IFB.
Oh.
So I hope I hit the
Isaac,
cues.
could you test Ryan's?
It sounded like you did.
I couldn't really.
It seemed like you did.
Tammy, you're welcome. When we discussed as a team, we discussed really a lot of the stories that we do as a team and whether or not our viewers would be interested in them, and ultimately we decide what we think yes and no. And this one here was, we thought you guys would really be interested in this, so we committed to doing 5 parts on the risk that women take when they give birth, and a lot of it I don't think people even think about it. I'll get pregnant, I'll have a baby. There is obviously inherent risk. It's a major ordeal for a woman to go through. We're very lucky in Maine. Oh, by the way.
We are. We're very, speaking of, Friday we're going to share you some of the numbers in Maine. And if you or anybody you know want to share your story of maybe going through a difficult pregnancy or a difficult birth, I'm looking to talk to somebody in Maine who's survived, because quite frankly there really aren't a lot of deaths in Maine, which is a good thing, but I'd love to hear the story. Do you need this? Okay. Passing the torch again. Guys, that's Isaac. Isaac, have you said hi to our Facebook friends?
Oh, I don't think Isaac said hello to
Isaac, Facebook, Isaac.
Isaac's the new Rachel.
Yeah.
So y'all knew who Rachel was.
So when you hear Keith asking Isaac to advance the picture.
That's not true. Fake news.
Wow, I can't. So Ryan, I have to tell you, when Clay and I got married, we still lived in Illinois, in the middle of tornado country, basically. And there were, the week before we flew out to the Cape to get married in Brewster, there were tornado warnings down the Cape.
Really?
In 2015. And we're like, we can't
Actually,
get
I remember
rid of
that.
this. Yeah.
It was like a morning tornado warning.
And I'm
because
like,
I had
we
family
can't get
there.
rid of this. Yes.
And I was texting them and everything.
Now,
I
I'm
remember
not
that.
one to give people a hard time. You know that. You know I don't do that. But
No.
not even Keith would bring up his own Twitter page.
Oh, I didn't do that. It was Isaac.
No, I'm just saying.
Can make it full.
No, it's okay. It's good.
You don't have to see my face.
I hope you can get a few more followers.
You know, 1,
now
2,
that you and Lester
3.
Holt are tight,
I know.
think it's good to
15 seconds.
get that out there.
Which bridge? Is this Sagamore or
This
Bourne?
is Bourne.
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 Born free?
Jason Bourne.
Born identity?
Same spelling as the Bourne Identity.
Massachusetts.
Oh, whatever.
Cape Cod.
Stand by.
You want to
All
take it?
Stand by.
So pretty wild weather day today. Want to check out this video. This is down on Cape Cod by the Bourne Bridge. If you're going across the Cape from the land side onto over the canal, check this out. This is actually either a funnel cloud or perhaps it hit the ground there. That would make it a tornado.
Wow.
This is about 2:30 this afternoon, and this wasn't the only cell that produced rotating thunderstorms. There was another one near Providence, Rhode Island, and maybe another one near Attleboro and Foxborough too. Pretty crazy. This is all part of the same storm that's coming our way tonight.
So what happens in this case? Like, does the National Weather Service then go out, survey the area, and look at the ground to see if it touched? Or?
Exactly. They haven't had a chance to do that yet. Some of the radar data suggests that the storm in Rhode Island did hit the ground. We can kind of detect debris on the radar. This one, though, is pretty close. There's a lot of video because this is an area where obviously a lot of people are either traveling or live. So they'll be looking at the video, the pictures that come in. I believe there are some reports of damage in Rhode Island.
Is the timing and the location of this rare?
Yeah, I mean, mid to late October, I can't remember the last time we had more than one thunderstorm that produced a tornado in southern New England. So pretty crazy.
Yeah, 2015, I remember that.
Yeah. All right. You know what I remember?
You remember what's coming up next.
5:30 starts right now.
Ryan, that's cool.
Bye, kids.
Bye, guys.
Thanks,
We'll see you
Rhino.
tomorrow.